Hello, everybody, and welcome to another interview, Roster Apocalypse interview. Is it still the Roster Apocalypse? A term coined by BaRRaCCuDDa back in the day, apparently, according to your esports
Yeah,
wiki page.
I don't know
uh,
if I ever actually coined that term. I think I stole it from somewhere, and then it just like, oh, Bear coined that term, and I'm like,
that's
sure,
you.
I did. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's me.
we'll go
Add it
with
to my
that.
resume of things I've done.
Many things. A very tenured Smite resume.
hmm
But
hmm
yeah. How you doing, Barra? First first weekend without any Smite. You got to watch your team give it a good try yesterday. but
Yeah, that was. I think them playing Warriors was the best possible thing for me
mm,
because, I mean, as I said on Twitter, we were gonna lose that set regardless.
yeah.
Don't you worry about that. It was gonna be a swift 3-0. But for me, I was able to be petty and be like immature and try to like crack a lot of jokes basically at their expense. Which at the end of the day, I did feel a little bad. But I think when people see that, they're like, "Oh, he's so salty. He's so angry. He's so like bitter that they dropped him," and that's really not the case at all.
yeah.
That's just my personality of I just want to make fun of people.
hmm
I've just always done that. And if you give me a good reason to do that, I'm going to do it. It's just what it is. But once like fans and people start taking it a little too far and start getting like personal with it, that's the line that you can't do. Because for me, being like their ex teammate, I can do that.
Yeah. You know where the
Just because
lines
I
are.
exactly, and there's like a friendship connection there with them. Um, but for random people to just be like, "I hate you, go die," probably shouldn't say that. You should probably be nicer to them because they don't really deserve that at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I think everything's calmed down. I hope everything's calmed down after yesterday. I don't think there was
Yeah,
too much. It didn't get too out of control. But
yeah.
yeah,
I figured I should just like make a statement just in case anyone was just gonna like witch hunt them for till the end of time,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. We had our fun. Now let's uh let's
Exactly.
let's hope they do better now.
Yeah.
Well, they can't get worse. Anyway, let's talk the roster change. For anybody who doesn't know, who's gone into this video, is like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Uh-huh.
The Ravens made the decision to replace BaRRaCCuDDa yourself with Zapman, your arch rival and nemesis.
I figured they would have gone for someone a little younger, you know?
Yeah, they've actually gone
Get
older.
some, get some fresh new blood in the scene.
But oh well. They've
Like, we've never heard of names like Panda Cat and Satman before, so.
yeah, there's no new blood coming through. I don't know. At least who have we got who's
Yeah,
new? We got Coast, I guess. One ADC who's kind
yeah.
of new. We
Uh-huh.
take that.
ADC is just such it's a tenured role, you know. There's a
Mhm.
lot of old gents over there that kind of have the ADC role locked down and
Mhm.
have had it locked down for a long time. And then
Yeah,
Coast comes along, just shakes things up.
yeah, we got that. But I guess does hardcore count as fresh? Maybe. Stu,
He well
he's
he
fairly fresh.
Yeah, he's fairly fresh. Yeah. Yark's doing Coast, but definitely Coast because Coast was like 11 when he started.
Yeah,
Like he was the kid kicking his shoes at the land. The
swinging his
juice
legs
box
on the
kid.
chairs
Yeah.
because they didn't touch the floor. Yeah,
Oh, those
man.
are the good old days. But yeah, I got dropped by Ravens. I don't really blame them for it because our scrims had been really bad lately.
Mhm.
Funny story on that Monday, I was like, wow, those are the best scrims we've ever had. Or like since we've been back, like the
Yeah,
two
yeah,
weeks. And I was very, I was like, wow, like we're kind of like hitting a new like groove coming into SPL this weekend. And then Vin sent a message in the Discord at 11 p.m. at night and was like team meeting at 10 a.m. the next morning,
yeah. Mhm.
which is Tuesday. So I'm like, this guy hates me. Like, who's typing a message to have a team meeting at Tuesday in the morning or an hour before scrims at 11 p.m. at night?
Mhm.
Like, do it earlier. But obviously, they just had like a whole team talk of like what they should do and the best person to drop, which happened to be me. Um, and then Tuesday morning, we get in the call, and they kind of like dance around it for a while, and I'm like, I kind of know where they're going with it, but I just
Yeah.
want to see like how awkward this is gonna get. And it got kind of awkward because Vin was like, "I lost my train of thought," and I'm like, "Dude, just kick me." Like,
Yeah.
that's all you have to say. It's just you're gonna get dropped, and that's fine. But I was very relieved when it happened, which is probably not the response that people think they're gonna hear.
Mhm.
Just the the scrim environment was not great since we've been back. Spring Split was really enjoyable.
Mhm.
I love scrimming and playing SPL, and everything was really nice, honestly.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, since we've been back from the 2 months break, there's been a lot of cohesion issues. People not really getting along with each other. And then around Fire Giants, our calls were abysmal.
Mm.
Something would always go wrong. Um, from my perspective, I always like a frontliner to be calling things and to be very assertive. Like we're going here. Like if you're mirror or whatever, we're gonna play with my Ymir walls. Like step up with me, do this with me. But we didn't really have that, and with the personalities being as strong as they were on the team, I didn't feel like I could be the leader in the backline that they wanted me to be.
Mhm.
So it kind of makes sense to drop me for a Zap, someone who is very vocal, very like we're going here, we're doing this, this is the play we're doing, these are the drafts we're doing, um, and I think that they should have a very good honeymoon period, as long as they're listening to Zap and it's gonna sound weird, but like obeying his every command.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he needs to come in and realize that he kind of has full control and just kind of let that be his team. In
Mhm.
my opinion, that's how they'll find their success. But we were just having a lot of individual issues, a lot of mechanical issues, and then on top of that, we were having a lot of cohesion and teamwork issues. And if like all the wheels on your car are broken, it makes sense to replace one. You know, just like just start from the ground up and just kind of like figure out something to do.
Yeah.
So I really honestly do not blame them at all for making a change because as me and you know, we've been around for a long time. Honeymoon period and changing teammates is sometimes exactly what you need.
Yeah.
And that can really refresh a team and breathe new life into them. And especially with Zap, like he's come in a fall split before and then won Worlds. So as I said on Twitter, I think that's 100%. They have a higher chance to win Worlds with Zap. So it's a business decision, and I'm really not upset about it. I wish them the best. Obviously, personal feelings. You never want to be the guy that gets dropped, but at the end of the day, what needs to happen happens. So like, yeah.
So did it when the Tuesday morning meeting came around, I guess you were thinking about it, wondering about what it would be, thinking it could be perhaps a change. Is this something that maybe has been on the back of your mind? Like did it blindside you, or is this something that you weren't especially surprised by?
It kind of blindsided me,
Mm.
but also that morning, funnily enough, at like 9 that morning, I was like, it's gonna be crazy to retire at the end of this year and be a player that's never been dropped in his entire career.
You were so close.
Yeah, I was like, if I could have just made it 3 more months, 4 more months, or whatever, I could have had that perfect record.
Man.
Um, it it I would say like 80-20, 80 being surprised, 20% kind of knowing like a change needs to happen. Um, but I mean, Scream's had a history of breaking up people that have been together for a long time, so I think that itch was just he needed to scratch it
Yeah,
for
he
a
just
while.
saw you and Van, and he got the chisel out. He was like, "I can take the, I can pry this apart."
Monday night, he goes in his closet, my trusty chisel. Time to get pry.
Everybody watch this. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of surprising, but like I said, at the end of the day, it's fine. It's yeah, it just in a change needed to happen,
Hmm.
and I think for them looking at the other options and other roles, it doesn't really make sense to drop any of them. So it's like Zap's available. He's a insanely good shot caller. We should just do that. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
also it takes a lot of like, I guess the best way to say it is balls. You are. My fans are just like a giant bucket of gasoline,
Hmm.
and you're setting all of that on fire when you drop me. Like, you know that there's gonna be a huge reaction. So for them to do that change, it's just yeah, it's a very funny change just because the repercussions, they're gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Because it's Zap as well, I think it makes it like that was
Exactly.
like it was almost poetry, like dark
Yeah.
poetry, I guess.
One of
um,
my one of my favorite Reddit posts or Reddit comments was like, I think it was like you're changing in a 2003
yeah,
Honda Civic for like a 2003 Honda Accord, and I'm like,
yeah.
he nailed it, dude. He literally nailed it.
Yeah, it was
But
pretty good.
it
I
was.
think just to touch on something you said there, but I think
Mhm.
a lot of people have talked about should it have been you, should it have been Ven, if this is the whole discourse around the backline
Mhm.
comms issue, or not comms as much as leadership, I guess, issue.
Yeah.
And I guess what you said there is like the reason it's you is probably because Zap is available and there's not a player of the same caliber available in mid. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Also, if they had come to me and they're like, "Hey, we want to drop a backline," I would have been like, "Just drop me. Like,
Okay.
pick up Steve."
Yeah.
And because Steve had offered to join the team,
Hmm.
um, I think it was when Neil left, and we had had a little bit of a discussion about like me going to coach and then zapping ADC, and I was kind of pushing for it because I'm like, I felt those issues from before because our front line. I'm not trying to like blame them or anything, but
Yeah.
there's not like that really controlling voice of the macro early game or like the really controlling voice around fire giants and objectives. A lot of times we have calls around the late game objectives where the front line are disagreeing with what should be happening. And me and Vin also really like following up on frontline calls, and we're very ready to kind of jump the gun on whatever they say. So when you're having calls that are going kind of back and forth, I mean, most recently, literally this past Monday, we had a fire giant where Scream was like, hit it, hit it, hit it, and everyone said reset. So I walked out of the pit and Scream was like, hit it, hit it, hit it. So I walked back in and then I get Thor dunked, and I could have played the Thor dunk way better. Like I beads and rolled out of the pit instead of like Aegising and standing my ground. Because they had an Athena too, so I was like getting slam dunked. And so I was like, I should just space this. And then we had a big talk about me just like staying in the pit, but I'm like, I don't know what to do, man. We're saying to reset, we're saying to hit it. Like, we just need, like, that's what I was talking about earlier. We just need, like, cohesion. They just need, like, one voice. And that's why it makes sense to just mute all of those voices and to just bring in, like, Steve, basically. And this is what we're doing. We're walking here, like, in that situation, probably, like, we're baiting out this Thoro. We're going to reset, and then we're going to fight afterwards. Or, like, something of that. So, yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah, that happens. I think. Can you hear that vacuum cleaner, by the way? I don't know if I need
No, I
to.
can't.
Okay, that's
No,
good.
you're good.
Cool. Yeah, I had to mute
It's
my
like
mic for a second.
it's like a 10% in the background. That's
Ah,
all.
one sec. Is this the lawnmower in the other interview? Now it's my side. The vacuum. She knows I'm doing an interview. Whatever. God damn it. Probably forgot. Anyway, then you announced your retirement. You didn't do what most
Mhm.
people do, which is you kind of retire, but there's like 2 weeks later a team offer comes in. You retired. You got
Mhm.
another. You had a job interview. You got another
Mhm.
job, and it
Yeah.
feels like
It's been a
this is all happening. This is the week where it's like you've really just pulled the plug on it, right?
yeah, it's been a very very fast-paced moving week. Cuz getting dropped on Tuesday, getting a job interview on Wednesday, getting the job call or the offer letter, whatever, on Friday, signing the offer letter, being happy with like all the benefits and the pay that they're giving me. It's just kind of it's it's like someone's like working behind the scenes, like pulling the strings of like what's happening in my life. Like just the way that the dominoes have laid down right now is just absurd. And like I said earlier, I was planning on retiring at the end of this year anyways, so I honestly wouldn't want to join another SPL team and just kind of like do it for a little bit or and then retire afterwards. If I'm playing at Worlds, I want it to be with people that I'm enjoying playing with and I have a history with. That's just always been my thing. I want to play with who I enjoy playing with instead of like not like my best chances of winning, but I mean I want relatively high chances of winning, but I also want people that I really enjoy playing with. Um, so yeah, it's just been a crazy week, and the job that I got, I'm very happy with how everything came to be because I already know the people that I'll be working with. It's a very low stress job, and it's just something I can do critical thinking at, but also kind of relax at the same time and get out of my house and just like touch grass normally. That's going to be very nice to it's just very stressful working from home because every time you come to your PC, you think about scrims, you think about SPL, you think about Smite, you think about what you should be doing better. When you're walking around your house, like your phone rings or like goes off, and it's like, oh, I have a Discord message. I need to read that. I need to like pay attention to my team, what they're talking about. Do I need to respond? And I wasn't the biggest responder in Discord, but I was always reading everything, so I never really had that break from Smite or that kind of escape. I was sometimes trying to like put my phone down for a long time, but then I kind of feel guilty if we were like talking about things or like me and Destiny are like watching a show and my phone goes off. I'm like, oh, I should probably pay attention to that. But yeah, it's. I think that's just why it was so hard for me to relax because I'm always in the environment that is the stressful environment for me. So there's not really like an escape for me.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're kind of always on. You're always on call at the very
Mm-hmm.
least, right? Whereas
Exactly.
now you're moving into a job, you'll do your contracted hours, whatever they are, half eight to nine, half eight to
Mm-hmm.
five, 9 to 5, whatever, and
Yep.
then you'll go home and you won't think about it for 10 hours, whatever. Get some sleep, and it's gonna be, yeah. I mean, looking back on your career, that's 10 years
Uh
of
huh.
SPL, a little bit more. I mean, Vicious and Delicious, Cog
Yeah.
Prime, C9, LG, SSG, Renegades, Bolts, Ravens. I think I missed
Yep.
one. I think there was an org you were in between Vicious and
Xertus.
Delicious and Cog. Yeah, Exertus Esports. That was the
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. But it's been a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
I guess while you're retiring, we could look back on it a little bit,
Sure.
ups and downs. I don't know, like what were I guess I'm just gonna give you the high for you. Surely
Mm-hmm.
season one Smite World Championship winning at the Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything that even came close to that?
No, I would say probably season three Worlds was a close second.
Mhm.
And then season one was definitely the peak and the height of my career, which obviously money wise was very nice, but it'd also be nice to have it like later in my career because it just kind of always makes you look like you're washed because you came out really strong, you won the first world championship,
Mhm.
you lost to the team that won the next two world championships, and then from there it was like just kind of like a struggle bus on and off. So I would say it's definitely the high, and then as far as lows go, I feel like this one's pretty obvious. Season six, the season none of my fans want to think about or
Mhm.
remember that actually happened. We were double scrimming every day, and so I was busy like 6, 7 days a week, probably 7 days a week, because I would still be watching SPL on my day off.
Yep.
Um, and then just trying to get better. And we would have talks sometimes about like what needs to happen in the team, kind of like what my team did. Like, should we drop anyone? Should we like keep playing with who we're playing with? And then we picked up Sino, and then we tainted Sino's career because I swear if we didn't troll 3 Fire Giants in a row against Splice when they had Baskin solo, we our mentals would have been saved.
Hmm.
And because we had gone up 2-0 in that set, and then we lost the next 3 games at Fire Giants. And
Yeah.
I'm like, we have these like nice 6K gold leads. We should just play it out. And that was when Sino like his big thing was like, let's go to the objective,
Flip
let's do
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we flipped it 3 times in a row, and I think one time we flipped it, and I think it was like, actually no, it would have been a different time. So I was thinking about when Benji was like 1v5 and Kama swooped and
Yeah.
stole it, and yeah, watching back those Fire Giants as a team was something I really regretted doing because there was just. I remember one like Vin and Jeff were just roasting in the Fire Giant. I guess that was before Sino,
Yeah.
if it was Vin and Jeff. Yeah, it was just we tried everything and nothing worked. And then I would say the second low was probably leaving that team at the end to like join up with like Jake and Vin and everyone. Just remembering how that conversation went down at Worlds, just saying that I was like exploring my options. I'm just the kind of guy. I'm like a pretty competitive person, but when it comes to teammates and people, I just get very attached to people.
Mhm.
I just don't really view teams as like pieces where you're just moving people around unless it's really really bad. I just view it as you're kind of always going to stick together and just kind of change as team members and grow as team members together. Um, yeah, it's that would be like my highs and lows, I would say. I would say my highs also have probably been playing with Jake lately because I
Mhm.
feel like that was probably the most dominant I looked in duo.
Mm.
Just because Jake is a very duo centric player, as everyone knows, so he was just slamming his dent down duo, and that always makes an ADC look good when your team member is just only playing for you, only warding for you. And yeah, I enjoyed playing with Jake a lot. Sometimes it was very frustrating talking to him, but in game it was most of the time very enjoyable.
Yeah. There was a lot of
So
the time.
I would say it was a high.
A lot of the time when you guys were like when you had that period of just dominating Joe where he was playing things like
Mhm.
tier and you were just running it down, getting kills in every 2v2. It was great to watch. It was great to watch. Must have been great to play.
Yeah, I feel like okay. One thing my fans are really dumb about, it's like, Bear, this is the best you've been playing in years, and I'm like, where have you been? Like, would you not remember like me and Jake killing everyone in duo? Like,
Mhm.
we like coined the Faf Jing, like
Yeah.
killing everyone
Hammer
with
into
like a
knock
not.
up every time. Yeah.
Yeah, we killed so many people, and they're like, this is the best you've been playing in years, and I'm like, dog, where have you been? Like,
Yeah. You went unbeaten
it,
for how many sets did you win in a row? Like 11, 12, something like that? You broke a
yeah.
record at the time.
But people, it's just always this. I think it's just because I'm old or something. People are always like, "Man, you suck." If you like, if you pull off the Barra combo, it's like, "Man, that was vintage Barracuda." Like,
Oh,
he's playing so good.
2012? 2012?
Yeah,
And you're like, guys.
I was so much worse back then. Like, come on.
Oh, man. But here we are. Who would have
Yep,
thought?
finally
Hot
here,
ones.
crossing the finish line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In a long one. I don't know. I don't know. We could go two ways here. You could either just have an open speak to the fans one, or you can talk about how to. Let's do both. I don't know. Is there anything
Okay.
you'd like to say to the fans? And also, as someone who's been around esports for a long time, is there any
Mhm.
advice you'd give to people starting, like, who want to come up in esports and who want to make gaming their career and have fun while doing it?
Mhm. Uh, I'll do the gaming first.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a fallback plan. Uh, don't throw all of your marbles into this right now. As I mean, I assume that if you're a gamer, you've been on Twitter. Esports is on fire right now.
Mm.
Unfortunately, and that's just what it is. A lot of orgs that have been around for a long time are on fire right now, and the esports bubble has kind of popped, in my opinion.
Yeah.
From the all of the hype that we had earlier. I remember like I think it was like the NBA stars were like sponsoring League of Legends teams, and orgs like TSM and C9 were just seen as like these gods among men. And if you were like the tier 1 org, you were just set for life basically, and like you it was just so nice to be up there. Um and I think with all the money that people have thrown into esports, they haven't seen like that return on investment that they've been looking for, unless you're like the really big esport, and you're getting like a ton of money. I think for everyone else, you're just kind of like struggling along right now. So I would definitely have a fallback plan. If you really want to commit to esports, I would be very I don't know what the correct word is, but kind of look inward every time you make a mistake.
Hmm.
Do not blame your teammates. Just look at what you yourself are doing wrong. And because everyone's going to lose games, and that's fine. Um, but the way that you perfect yourself is not by blaming others, it's by looking inwardly and figuring out attitude wise, performance wise, mechanical wise, what you yourself can be doing better. And that would just be my advice to you. Whatever esport it is, just reflect on yourself before you speak to others. I think that's the best way to put it. And then for my fans, I just want to thank you guys for supporting me this whole journey. It's been crazy ups and downs. And then through all of my different teammates and you guys supporting all of my different teammates along the way, I hope that you guys will continue to support the Ravens. If not, that's fine. I completely understand it. But I really wish you guys would, because they are not bad people. They are not the villains of the league. They are not these evil masterminds behind the door that are like, oh, it's BaRRaCCuDDa. We hate this guy. Just please continue to support them. Continue to support Smite. Continue to support the SPL. Um, just don't have this be the bitter ending of your journey as a fan. Just realize that I'm not going to be in Smite and SPL anymore. It's just change was inevitable. This is my time, and I'm not salty about it. I mean, Grant, I'm a little sad, obviously. Playing at One More Worlds would have been really cool. That being said, I haven't made my decision yet about going to Worlds.
Please come.
Yeah, I feel like if I go to Worlds, I'm holding everything in really good right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if I go to Worlds, it's all gonna come out. Like I feel like I'm gonna be crying for like 3 days straight. So yeah, I haven't made my decision, but honestly, I'll probably end up going. It's just it would be a nice sign off, and I know a lot of people are like selling their tickets or whatever, but I will probably end up going. Just it just kind of feels right to just go and see everyone again. It'd be nice to cheer for the Ravens as well in person, and hopefully Zap will figure out what they're missing before Worlds and just kind of like help them out. Because it'd be really cool to watch Vin win another Worlds, because he's been my boy for so long. I've loved teaming with him and loved just being with him. It'd be really cool to watch him win again. I hate everyone else in the team, you know.
Especially
it
Marback.
yeah, especially him. It was all his plan. But yeah, it's just been a wonderful experience just being with the fans and the casters and all the personalities in Smite, because I feel like this has been the most genuine family in esports that's ever been a thing. We've just always kind of looked out for each other and had each other's backs through everything. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys for everything, just everything.
Yeah, it's a good way to sign off.
Thank you.
Thank you, BaRRA, for coming
I'm a
on.
professional.
And yeah, thank you for all you've given to Smite as well. I speak for probably, let's say 97% of the Smite community. There's 3% haters, maybe.
All you Zap fans out there.
What I say, I don't know. You've been an amazing influence on the scene. You've just brought such a great vibe to the league and to your community. Always positive, always kind to everyone around you, and great professionalism. Just everything that, in my opinion, a great esports player should be. So, thank you very much for everything, BaRRA. And
well, I love you, buddy.
Love you too, man. And thanks everybody for watching. I love all you as well. Slam that like button. See you later.